We're joined now by Clovis Casali, our reporter in Rome. Clovis, what's happening where you are?
Well, I'm outside Santa Maria Maggiore, the final resting place of Pope Francis, and I can tell you long queues going practically all around the Basilica, people who turned up early this morning in order to see the tomb of Pope Francis, which is a simple tomb, and of course pay their respects. This is the day after a funeral. They brought close to 400,000 mourners on the streets of Rome or in the Vatican on St. Peter's Square. That's less than for John Paul II, but it's still a significant number, of course. A word on Santa Maria Maggiore. It's one of the oldest basilicas in Rome. Only 7 popes are buried here, and it's the first time a pope is buried outside of the Vatican in 120 years. Pope Francis, who for many mourners here was someone who promoted peace, who was the symbol of a simple pope. And in his homily yesterday, Cardinal Ray outside St. Peter's Basilica said that he was a pope among the people, a pope who sought to build bridges and not walls.
Now, of course, on Saturday's funeral mass, one event that somewhat stole the spotlight was a certain meeting between Donald Trump and Volodymyr Zelensky in St. Peter's Basilica.
On the sidelines of the funeral of Pope Francis, you had, of course, dozens of heads of state and royals, and it was the perfect opportunity, a chance for Volodymyr Zelensky, the Ukrainian president, to once again make his plea, talk to Donald Trump, try to convince the US president that Ukraine needs his backing, need the backing of the US, and that Ukraine is the victim in the current conflict with Russia, with repeated deadly attacks taking place. And a 15-minute talk between Donald Trump and Volodymyr Zelensky took place before the funeral. And interesting to point out that Donald Trump, after the funeral, on his way back to the US, said that there might need to be a change of strategy when it comes to dealing with Russia. Donald Trump saying that now he's expressing doubts that Putin actually wants to end the war, and saying maybe Vladimir Putin has been tapping me all along, and therefore there needs to be a different kind of negotiation taking place with Russia. And Donald Trump speaking of the possibility of maybe putting in place more banking sanctions.
Clovis Casali from Rome, thank you very much for that report.